Up Here is the brand new musical rom-com streaming on Hulu. All 8 episodes of season 1 just came out the other day, so I sat down, I watched it, and this is going to be my thoughts on it. So basically, if you haven't heard about this, if you don't know what Up Here is about, it is, really, that description is what it is. It's a musical and it's a rom-com. That's, for the most part, what it is. So it's a rom-com. It's the whole season follows this romance story, this love story between these two characters, Miguel and Lindsay. But meanwhile, they're kind of having some issues with that because they actually have all these voices inside their head. So that is embodied by actual people that are portraying different voices within their heads. But it's not something like Inside Out where it's like, oh, they're different emotions or anything. These inside voices are actually based on real people in their lives. And it's interesting the types of people that they are. You know, some of it is like, oh, their parents or somebody they're related to, and then some of it is like a traumatic figure from the past. So it's really an interesting concept that I thought would actually be really cool. But to be completely honest, the real reason I started watching this in the first place, I was interested in this anyway, was just because of Carlos Valdez. Because of course, you know, I'm a big fan of The Flash. Grew up watching The Flash. Carlos Valdez as Cisco on The Flash was my favorite part of the show. Of course, I was really sad when he left the series in season 7. So Cisco was my favorite. And also, the fact that this was a musical, that one Supergirl Flash crossover episode with it was the musical episode. He didn't do a whole lot in it, but Carlos Valdez was great in that. So I was really excited with this idea of, like, you know, first of all, just wanted to support the actor's next project. And it'd be a musical series, and him obviously being an amazing singer. I believe he's been on Broadway in the past as well. I was really excited for that aspect. But what I didn't realize, though, is that Mae Whitman, who is the female lead of this series, that I also recognized as well. Because when I first started watching this, I was like, you know what? She looks familiar. I feel like I know her from something. And literally, it was not until I was watching the second to last episode and I was looking at stuff about the show on my phone, and I found out that's Mae Whitman from The Duff. So I found that out. So you got The Duff and you got Cisco Ramon from The Flash in here singing and falling in love together. That's basically what this show is. And so I thought I would love this. I thought this would be like a slam dunk for me because I love musicals and I love rom-coms. Like, literally, perfect combo for me. And it definitely started off amazing. Like, literally, those first 2 episodes, I loved them. As I was watching episode 2, I literally said out loud, oh my god, I love this show. It's so good. But after that, it started to go downhill. Because this is the hard part about it, is because this whole series, or at least this whole season, it circulates around that one major plot point of this being the love story between Lindsay and Miguel. But it's really hard to prolong something like that across an 8-episode season and drag it out like that. This is something that I think would have been fit better for like a movie, you know, a Hallmark movie type thing. Because dragging it out just did not work, because, you know, they got together right at the beginning, and then that usually, you know, they get together, that's the whole end goal. So where do you go from there? And it basically ended up turning into they keep getting together and breaking up pretty much every episode. And so it just got to the point of it being really annoying. It honestly got to the point of being, I don't really think it's a spoiler for you guys to know that, if you haven't seen it yet, that by the end of the season, they end up together. But, you know, after going like 6-7 episodes of them just breaking up and getting back together, like, it just shows you numerous reasons as to why they should not be a couple and why they should not be together. It kind of makes it not as rewarding in the end. I mean, obviously in the end, it's still, you know, it's a rom-com. It's still nice to see them get together in the end. And I did honestly really enjoy that finale. Episodes 1, 2, and 8 were my favorites of the show. But it just feels weird because you see them go through all these different stuff and break up over and over again, and all these multiple reasons they should not be a couple and that they really do not care about each other, but in the end they still get together. So it is a little bit annoying because, you know, I know a lot of people that hate rom-coms and hate these movies like this that will just like fantasize or romanticize what love is really like compared to what it is in the real world. And this show basically proves to me this shows me to what it's like for them watching just a regular rom-com, about how unrealistic this is for all of these terrible things to happen within their relationship and then for them to still get together in the end. It's very unrealistic. But in the end, you know, they get together, and again, I really did enjoy that final episode. I think they did it in a nice way, but it just felt so, it was just dragged out so much, and I feel like this would have been done so much better as a movie. And when it comes to the music itself, you know, obviously it's a musical series, that's one of the big selling points of it. That's another thing where I feel like it was a little bit lacking in. I feel like, for one, they probably could have done more musical sequences. There was only, like, maybe 1 to 2 per episode. That's not really a huge complaint for me, but a lot of them were not incredibly unique, and I don't want to say bland, but just not, like, there's not really many songs in this that will be super catchy and get stuck in your head. Really, most of the good songs are, again, in the first couple episodes, and then, you know, there's some other ones throughout. Kind of the theme song of the show, which does recur in the credits of each episode, and then, of course, actually is featured in the episode itself for the finale. I really enjoyed that one as well. But the music was definitely lacking a bit. I mean, obviously not the actual vocals and the singing parts themselves, because, I mean, Carlos Valdez, Mae Whitman, amazing performers, amazing singers. That was another thing that here was great. The cast, all of them were amazing, particularly Carlos Valdez. I just want to specifically note, because, again, after watching him on The Flash for years, having him be kind of the sidekick, the little nerdy computer guy, to be on here, be this hunky looking man that's, like, all sexy and stuff, and, like, a singer and, like, everything, is like, whoa. Like, he really showed off his acting chops and everything here, so I really enjoyed that. But to be completely honest, though, my biggest complaint with this series was the editing. It annoyed me so much, because the transitions from scene to scene, it would cut to black abruptly, and it would just stay on that for like a second or two, and then suddenly move into the next scene. It's not going to be like a regular project where you will get a nice fade edit or a cross-dissolve transition. No, this is just very choppy transitions, and I absolutely hated that. It's definitely a style choice. I feel like that was a creative choice that the people behind the show definitely made. I am just personally not a fan of it. I did not enjoy that and found it actually quite annoying. But yeah, so I mean, I watched it. I watched all 8 episodes. In the end, I enjoyed it. Especially, again, I really did enjoy that finale. And the way they end it off, you know, I was kind of thinking this whole time, like, how would they even do a season 2? Like, once they get together, and, like, you know, you have to assume that by the end of the season, they're going to get, like, officially together this time. But, like, where do you even go from there? I mean, they already spent a whole season of them breaking up and getting back together again. They're not going to do that for a whole nother season, are they? But season 2 does end on a cliffhanger where it shows you where things can go. And as many complaints as I have about this first season, I actually kind of want a season 2 just so I can see where this goes, because that cliffhanger gets me actually really excited. Now I actually really want a season 2. So this is a show that I would recommend if you like musicals and if you like rom-coms and if you're a fan of these actors. You may be able to make it through this. But if not, then you are not going to be into it. And I feel like this is not going to be a show for many people, or actually most people. But, you know, maybe give it a try. Again, the first couple of episodes are golden. After that, it goes downhill until it comes back to the finale. But, yeah. So, again, mixed feelings. If you watched it, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But for now, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the movie life.